Beautiful day out. It was about 90 yesterday. I think it's in the high 70s today. The big thing I wanted to go over was an update on the compost pile. It's been a couple weeks since the kids built it. You probably saw the video. We've turned it over a couple times, like stirred it up, and then we've added water to it as well. And it reached an internal temperature of about 110. I think it's down to around between 100 and 105. So the microorganisms in there are active. They're breaking down those materials that we added to it. But I want to check the temp today and see where it's at. And this weekend, we're planning on stirring it up a little bit again. So it's looking good. It's about 101, 102 degrees. I tossed all the leaves up and it's definitely hot to the touch. So I gotta think that's a good sign. When we made the compost pile this year, the idea was to try to get usable compost as soon as possible. That's why we had the kids only use dead leaves and grass clippings, as well as kitchen scraps, but only stuff that's like peels, really easy to break down. The idea behind that is we wanted usable compost really quickly, and I'm told you can get this within 45 to 60 days. I don't know, I haven't tried that before, but I'm not adding manure or anything like that to it, just because I know that can take a little more time for the nitrogen to kind of break down in there. So I'm only using the most basic things that you can use in a compost pile, hoping that we can get to be able to use it for our fall crops. Jet, what's it smell like?
It smells like Mother's Day. What? Smell it.
Flowers that smell like Mother's Day.
Simply put, we live in the woods, and after years of trial and error, we learned that we had to compensate for the shortcomings of our sandy soil by taking measures to enhance it. We're doing this with natural elements.
Another thing we're doing this year that's a little bit different than what we've done before is we're mulching all of our vegetables in the garden. So a lot of people think that's just for soil nutrients. So when the leaves or grass or whatever you put in there break down, then it's giving nutrients to the soil. While that's true, it's also a protection from rainwater and from soil erosion. So on our family garden, we use the dead leaves for mulch, but on Presley, his personal garden, he wanted his own garden to kind of test out his own methods, but we use straw in this one. So the big thing about that, like I said, when you get rainwater coming down, rainwater's gonna sort of tear through that soil. It's gonna pull it away from the stem of the plant, and a lot of times it's gonna expose the root, expose the vegetable, if it's like a potato where the vegetable's underground. And putting this straw there makes a first layer of defense to where it gives sort of a landing platform for the rainwater, and then it's not gonna destroy your soil. And that way, the straw is then going to retain the moisture of the rainwater, so we don't have to water as often. But because the rainwater's hitting here first, it's not doing the damage that it would do without it. Now, even if you just watered your garden and you don't have any kind of mulch on there, the sun is gonna suck up the moisture in the soil almost faster than you can even water it. So that's another way that the mulching is super advantageous, because it's holding that moisture in the soil and providing barrier from sunlight. One interesting thing that we noticed in the garden this year is that we have peas lining this fence right here and this fence right here. These plants are way shorter than the ones over here. So I think these get a lot more sunlight. More of the energy went into the plant itself rather into the pea, the fruit. So the smaller plants have way bigger peas. The larger plants have really small and just less yield. I think next year we're gonna end up probably trying to do more on the other side of the garden that doesn't get so much sun, and that way we can get more peas from it. We grew 2 rounds of potatoes this year. The first ones were Presley's that he planted in his raised bed, and those bolted almost immediately. I don't know if the soil conditions were just so great and the sunlight was perfect, temperature was great, but they got like 3 feet tall, which we planted ours, which are right here. And these are obviously a lot shorter. So it's going to be interesting to harvest his and harvest these ones and see which ones grew more. Sincerely, we are open to any advice or feedback that we can get, because historically we've spent a lot more time raising animals and growing our own meat than we have on gardening, and this is the first year that we've really taken gardening super seriously. I'm personally doing a lot of research on it. There's a lot of information out there, and I don't know the right route for everything. So shoot us a comment and let us know what we could do better. Anything you've tried and have experience with, we'd love to hear it, because we'll take all the help we can get.